We've completed Horizon Forbidden West, and we had the best time with Aloy, board gymnastics champion of the world. We loved the wild story, and the ending definitely suggests that Guerrilla Games want to make another Horizon adventure. But before the Horizon series definitely becomes a trilogy, we want to flag some changes we need in the next game. Although we adored Forbidden West, there were some things that annoyed the heck out of us, and we don't want to see them crop up again when Aloy sets off on another world-saving escapade.
Made it. Time to find whoever's in charge. Figure out what's going on in this camp. I do not like the look of this place.
The next Horizon needs to have better rebel camps to clear. In fact, it made us miss how bandit camps worked in the first game. In Horizon Zero Dawn, there were plenty of bandit camps for Aloy to clear out, but to avoid these camps being just another box ticked in the open world game checklist, Guerrilla gave us the enigmatic Nil. Say hello, Nil.
I'm glad you came.
You're glad. Why?
Call it a shared interest. And call me Nil.
Nil is a Kaja warrior with a burning desire to murder his fellow humans, a desire fueled during the Red Raids, the brutal attacks by the Kaja against other clans. With war over in Zero Dawn, Nil quenches his bloodlust by helping Aloy clear out bandit camps, not out of any moral stance, but just for a chance to kill without retribution.
These little moments are refreshing, aren't they?
That could be the least creepy thing you've said to me.
That glimpse of yourself in their eyes just as the cloud of death passes across them.
Never mind, there it goes.
You could have interesting conversations with Nil, often sprinkled with a weird flirtatious tension as Nil admires how well Aloy kills.
I saw some of the places you'd been. The new settlers had no appreciation of craft. They'd already piled your work in a ditch. But I knew the signs to look for. The scrabble in the dirt, those surprised splashes.
Alright mate, calm down. Once you take down all 6 camps, this tension culminates in an invitation from Nil to take things to the next level. No, not a date, but a fight to the death.
So, what do you say? How about we try to kill each other?
You can kill him in combat or refuse his request, but either way it turns what could be a repetitive side quest into a discussion on the moral ambiguity of killing a bunch of killers, without going full The Last of Us Part 2. The latest game, Horizon Forbidden West, also has 6 rebel camps with a story running through them, but disappointingly, that story is mostly told through anonymous recordings you find deep within each camp, with no interesting chat about the morality of murder.
To all engineers and operatives, find the Nora that's been picking apart our facilities.
Completing 5 camps reveals the location of the anonymous voice, a final unique cave hideout called First Forge, which ends in a big boss battle that means nothing because you never saw her face until now.
I can still...
The other issue is this mystery narrative ends up watered down, as instead of just having 6 rebel camps, there are 17 additional smaller rebel outposts in the world, tied to a different subplot.
This outpost won't be causing any more trouble.
Each rebel outpost leader has a set of dog tags belonging to a non-rebel Tanakh they've killed, so it's up to Aloy to murder the leader of each outpost and steal those tags back.
This one for tags.
Or steal their keys to get the tags from a nearby chest in what feels like more busy work. This got tedious pretty fast, so much so that we put all our points into the Stealth Stalker Valor Surge so we could just walk in, immediately kill the only person in each camp you need to kill, and get back to the good bits of the game.
Some tags here. I should take them to Duca.
The only thing we can say for sure at this point about the next Horizon game is that its name will start with Horizon and end in something forgettable. But here's how we hope rebel camps will work next time. Most importantly, we want fewer camps and outposts. They need to be streamlined to just a precious handful again, tied together by something more than a bunch of anonymous recordings. Perhaps a more linear questline could lead you from one camp to another, following clues to the different hideouts. Then these quests could also help us discover new areas of the map more organically than just looking on the map after we've overridden a tallneck. We also don't want the same camp over and over with the same copy-pasted enemies on top of a slightly different background of sand, rock, jungle or snow. Guerrilla needs to properly make use of the gorgeous varied environments they've designed and give each camp a similarly varied look and solution for the part of the world they're in. We've cleared out so many bandit camps in so many open world games that we want something special in the next Horizon title that elevates them and saves them from being mere busywork. We know Guerrilla can do it. It's what Nil would want.
A brief encounter for us, but the end for them. They were squalid lives anyway.
Oh, sorry. I don't actually have any tags right now.
No problem. Let me know when you find some.
Spearing 17 powerful rebel outpost leaders in the back is a lot of work, so if you hand in all the Tenarch tags for doing so, you get a special gift.
Here. This belonged to one of the Fallen. He left no family behind. But I know he'd be honored for a true soldier to have it.
Well, that's definitely me. I wonder what precious weapon this soldier has. Some gold ingots and machine circulators? I'm sorry, but what the fuck? Sadly, this is actually pretty standard for Forbidden West's quests. There are some that give you cool, unique items and gear, but for the most part, NPCs will just give Aloy crafting materials and useless things she can only sell on. Maybe Guerrilla thought that this would give players more freedom, so that you can use those rewards to buy what you really want or upgrade the weapons of your choice. But what it feels like is exactly what it is: a box of junk. Another example of disproportionately meagre rewards are the 12 black boxes in crashed planes scattered around the West. They're hard to find and all you can do is trade them in. For what? Generic crafting resources that you can loot and shoot from any old robot dinosaur. Trade them all in and you do get Wings of the Ten, a fancy blast sling, but by the time I was able to do that, I'd already finished the game and therefore I didn't need it anymore, did I? Why have games not learnt this yet? Just give us trophies for all the collectibles like you did in Zero Dawn, please! And don't get me started on the cool new underwater areas you get to explore called Sunken Caverns. If you complete these, you just end up with lots of green shine to sell or upgrade weapons with. By the way, there are 3 different types of green shine. Why the fuck do we need this many types of green shine? Components of new machines and body parts from new animals are plenty enough when it comes to new items to worry about. I don't see why Aloy also has to go into the mining business. Oh no, you got me started. One reward Forbidden West does get right is key items, special components only found on certain machines. These turn fights into a puzzle of what's the bit I actually want and do I have to shoot it off or should I leave it intact? It actually improves general gameplay by adding an extra manageable layer to combat that we want to keep in the next game. But I'm tired of just filling Aloy's pockets with stuff like some kind of roaming junk hoarder. In the third game, we'd love a streamlining of crafting materials and more interesting rewards for taking the time to run around doing errands. Also, please, 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 can we be less stingy on the animal parts for crafting? We're pretty sure every animal Aloy kills has bones and skin. At one point in the game you unlock the power of flight and get to ride Sunwings around, and it's awesome. The issue we have is, the first time you get on a Sunwing is the only time it's awesome. Now that's not saying that flying isn't fun. It's a great way to travel around the Forbidden West, and I'll honestly never get tired of pull casting my way onto a Sunwing or watching the hilarious way Sunwings pick Aloy up. Whoever came up with that needs a promotion. But after their big introductory story quest, Sunwings are forgotten in the main story and just become a way to get up to high points of interest that aren't actually that interesting. I mean, I should be excited to find a mysterious sunken cavern at the top of a mountain, but once you're inside, it's just like any other sunken cavern, and yet again, it's just full of 3 different types of... oh no. And while there are some Sunwing quests, all they boil down to is a quest on top of a mountain that you need to fly up to, or a quest at sea that you need to fly out to. And you can't even fight while on a Sunwing, so you have to jump off to get into combat while the Sunwing circles above you doing absolutely naff all to help. The Forbidden West takes a cool flying robot dinosaur that can fire plasma lasers and turns it into nothing more than an air taxi. Sunwings are capable of doing cool stuff. Look at the one Aloy's on doing cool stuff here in this main story cutscene. try and do it. Nothing really happens. You just make a bunch of machines all angry and electric. Boo!
Gotta finish off those machines and pick up that green shine.
I don't want any more green shine, Aloy. I just want to one-shot the robots like you did in the cutscene. To prevent the Sunwing from being underutilised and undercool in the sequel, we propose these changes. 1. Let us use Sunwings to attack, just like we do with any other mount. 2. Have the Sunwings help us in fights when we're on the ground. Give us backup, damn it! And 3. More interesting quests built around Sunwings and their unique abilities. Maybe Aloy has to explore a cave system that can only be flown through. Or, like in the main story mission, she has to use the Sunwing to carry something, to help her solve a puzzle. Just don't reduce Sunwing-based missions to, oh no, here's a cliff. Oh, and we want even more hilarious animations like this. Every time. We absolutely adored some of the new weapons Aloy got to use in the Forbidden West, with a particular favourite of ours being the boomerang-like Shredder Gauntlet. We were also pretty excited about the weapon's upgrade system at the start. It worked really well for the early hours of the game, offering a cheaper alternative to players than buying higher level equipment. However, after playing with the game for 90 plus hours, we've decided the upgrade system is the root cause of much of our misery. Okay, we say misery, we mean modest irritation. The main problem is that as you progress and gain access to more powerful weapons, upgrading isn't just about increasing their power to make fights a bit easier. For weapons of blue rarity or above, the game often locks ammo variations and weave slots behind upgrades. So instead of upgrades just helping some numbers go up, you're often strong-armed into completing upgrade jobs to gain full functionality of a weapon. Getting a new non-upgraded weapon as a quest reward can feel less like, ooh, new toy, and more like, oh, thanks for the new job. Kinda undercuts the whole reward concept. Once you get to these higher level weapons and armour in the game, upgrading becomes a huge effort, often requiring multiple components from really powerful machines. I mean, the final upgrade on this rare Utaru armour requires not only components from a Stormbird and a Dreadwing, but also 7 Tremortusk tusks. And we'd remind you, a Tremortusk looks like this. The sheer amount of stuff you need for upgrading weapons is a huge reason why so many quests throw machine parts at you rather than something more interesting. And the thing is, that doesn't always remedy the issue. Different weapons and armor need so many different components to upgrade them that often your pockets are filled with upgrade materials for gear that you don't ever use. To fix these issues in the next game, upgrades, if kept at all, should be slimmed down with regards to how many components you need and only be a way to increase the base strength of a weapon or the base defense of armor. Just let us play with our Shredder Gauntlets, please. As well as an overabundance of items, the map of Forbidden West also has an overabundance of locations, and no, not just the camps.
I should check those attacks.
One step closer to a machine circulator, yay! Along her journey, Aloy gets her hands on brand new equipment that allows her to navigate through the West. There's the Pullcaster, Shield Wing, Fire Gleam Igniter, Diving Mask, and a special upgrade to Aloy's spear to get rid of the vines grown from metal flowers. Not only do these upgrades give us more complicated, interesting puzzles as we progress through the story, but these were all useful methods to funnel players in the right direction in the wider world too. Problem is, the Forbidden West is also peppered with what feels like millions of fire gleam walls and metal flowers, and all they do is block tiny alcoves that contain chests or green shine. And you know how I feel about green shine.
Save this green shine for something special.
Something special? You need green shine for like half of the upgrades, Aloy! There are just too many of these, and in the end all they serve as is an added barrier to some random loot you probably already have plenty of. Sometimes there are interesting pieces of data with them too, but Aloy can literally scan data pads through walls without needing to get in, so in those cases, the barrier is pointless. In an open world story-driven game, this all just feels like tidying up. The annoying thing is that there are already great examples of these barriers being used for unique side content and collectibles in the form of relic ruins. These standalone puzzles are brilliant and bring all of Aloy's newly acquired gear to bear. Hacking into metal flowers and blowing up walls feels way more satisfying when you're doing it as part of a larger, more intricate puzzle, especially when that puzzle ends in a unique collectible that not only has a fun backstory to it, but gives you the opportunity to permanently change part of the world, even just aesthetically.
This is stranger than a spark in a puddle. What kind of festival celebrates bats? By the forge, during the party, what did they feast on?
In Horizon 3, we want to cut back on the filler that litters the map. From the puzzles in the old ruins, to tallnecks to vista points, the game already has enough interesting stuff to make you explore different corners of the gorgeous environments.
There it is.
We don't need yet more green shine with a single barrier that keeps it arbitrarily out of reach until you get further in the story.
If this green shine will fetch a price.
Any point on the map that you explore needs to have a good and meaningful payoff for exploring it. We know it's possible because Guerrilla has done it with the other locations, and even at one of the generic metal flower locations, we found dead Tanarth who had been trapped behind the uncuttable vines with a hostile machine that immediately tried to murder us too. That was a great bit of world building that most of the other locations lacked, and something that we want to see more of as we explore in the next game.
The relic I saw in the tower should be up above. Gotta find a way up there.
Okay, so we love Aloy to a ridiculous extent. She's definitely grown as a character since Zero Dawn, and in Forbidden West we see her gradually warm up to other people, letting them into her world and allowing them to help her on her world-saving quest.
Leave that to me. Just make sure you're ready to fight.
As you say. You have more than earned my trust.
She's intelligent, can be hilariously salty at times, and has fully cemented herself as a favourite character of ours.
It's dead. Finally.
Which is why it was incredibly upsetting whenever we found ourselves shouting at our screens for Aloy to please stop talking.
Need to back up. Try again. Better try further back.
The problem is, in the Forbidden West, if you end up in a puzzly area, Aloy often blurts out the puzzle solution to you.
Ledges up on the wall, but I don't think I can reach them from here.
Instead of letting you use your intuition, Aloy mutters under her breath with a, maybe I should try this, or I have to get up there somehow.
I think I can slot this energy cell into that device.
Yes, I know, Aloy. I was just about to do it. If you could give me just 5 seconds. This most likely stems from Guerrilla being worried about players getting stuck or lost in all the dense foliage of the West. This is understandable, but perhaps in the next game they should subscribe to the Naughty Dog method of offering up a hint button, at which point Aloy could say her lines only if players wanted them, and they'd be a useful tip, rather than outright ruining the puzzle or frustrating an already stuck player with vague statements repeated over and over.
I get the charged energy cell across the water, but how?
But please definitely keep in the fun celebratory lines from Aloy whenever we got past a certain point of a puzzle. It feels great to have that extra verbal pat on the back when we make progress.
Down it goes. Okay, I think I'm getting there.
However, we're tired of Aloy talking about finding another signal whenever we scanned for a black box which we already knew was there because we'd literally followed the map to get here.
There's another locator signal for a recording here.
Or whenever Aloy told us how to do something that we'd already done many times before.
Gotta bring the drone down to grab its data. Maybe if I jump onto it?
Yeah, Aloy, this is like my 7th drone. I think I know what I'm doing by now.
Got it!
We understand wanting to get your money's worth from the legend that is voice actor Ashley Birch, but if Aloy keeps blurting out hints to the point where she often cuts herself off, that implies you're not confident in your puzzle design.
You get a good view of the city from... That did it!
don't know about you, but despite the Forbidden West giving us 12 Valor Surges to play with, there were only ever 2 that we regularly used. Those 2 were of course the previously mentioned Stealth Surge and Radial Blast. The problem was, these were the only visually interesting ones. All other Valor Surges just raised some stat percentages or put a colour filter on the screen, albeit with a little animation to kick them off. While these boosters might well be useful for the big fights against big machines, in terms of fun, none of them came close to doing this. I mean, come on, that just looks cool and gives a far more obvious benefit to players than some slightly higher numbers coming out of an enemy. Which one do you think they showed off in the preview footage? We'll tell you. It wasn't the one that moderately increases your critical hit chance. We're sure there were players who loved getting into the nitty-gritty of the other Valor Surges, but for us, Valor Surges in the next game should always be more visually stimulating within a fight. Yeah, you might take down a machine quicker, but that won't be as satisfying as watching Aloy sneak past an enemy in fancy camouflage. If players really enjoyed the bonuses of the current Valor Surges, instead of creating brand new ones, Guerrilla could just tweak these to make them more exciting, maybe by adding a finishing move related to the stats they improve. This is something we've seen work well in other games, such as Kingdom Hearts 3 and the most underrated game of all time, Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. Cue the comments about me, Ellen, the world's biggest Kingdoms of Amalur fan, crowbarring Kingdoms of Amalur into yet another list, but it's a good example, damn it! The point is, in the next game, people who want to boost stats for a particular fight should also get to enjoy some super cool moves that Aloy is 100% capable of. Pretty please, Guerrilla. All in all, Horizon Forbidden West was a brilliant game, bogged down in too much open world guff that just felt like filler content. For the next installment, we want a stripped down game that focuses on the great puzzles, intriguing stories, and solid world building, especially since building a new world is what Aloy is trying to achieve in the first place, badum-cha. Every area we explore should tell a story, every collectible should have an interesting payoff. In truth, we could go on for ages about the little things we'd like changed. Honestly, there was a real danger of this video becoming H-Bomber Guy length. So it's with great restraint that I'm not going to go into the need for a more flexible photo mode that isn't just locked to Aloy, and no missable trophies next time please. Also, Guerrilla, here's a tip for free. Maybe don't release the next one at the same time as a Zelda or an Elden Ring. Anyway, thank you for listening to me complain about a video game that I honestly really liked. I had a lot of fun with this game. These are just little nitpicks that I would like to see gone in the next game if and when it appears. Are there any that you agree with me on? Are there any you disagree with me on? Are there any other things that you would like changed? Honestly, this is not an exhausted list. There's... Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please do give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, why not subscribe? Because we make videos like this all the time and you'll more easily see them if you're subscribed. So do go do that, and if you would like to support us even further, you can join the OX Supporters Club on Patreon, where you will have access to voting for what streams we do, and also access to our Discord, where you can ask me even more questions about the Horizon series, and I will try and answer them. Yay! Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye!